Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
If you can, survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my brother Tommy. How's it going?
I'm doing good.
And also joining us is our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How you doing?
Yo, yo, yo.
Happy New Year, pal.
Happy New Year, pals.
I know. Here we are back at it. First episode of In The Kliq in 2022. So super exciting. Sorry for kind of the lack of episodes the last couple weeks, you know. Hey, for me personally, I was just super busy at work with the holidays approaching. So I was just really burnt out from work, and then been on vacation the last couple weeks. So I've been kind of just, you know, trying to recharge the batteries and take a little break from all the wrestling consumption.
How was Spain, guys? Did you have a good time in Spain?
No. Oh, yeah. The paella was tremendous.
Oh.
I love the paella. I mean,
You did
it's
walked
practically like street vendors everywhere of paella.
Really?
Oh, yeah. In Barcelona. And
Love Barcelona.
God. Oh, it's a beautiful city. Si many. Well, bonita in Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the only traveling we did was watching Guy Fieri on Food Network.
Wow.
Oh my God. Like
You classless hack.
for the last like week, like our dad watches Food Network and it's always Guy Fieri on. Like, I guess maybe the Food Network took the whole last week of December off and just had diners, drives, and wait, what's the show called, Tommy?
Diners, drives, and drive-ins. No, diners, dives, and drive-ins.
Yeah. Triple D. So reruns of that airing over and over. So
Heyo.
Yeah, so no, we're back at it. It is a brand new year, so we will.
A lot of the episodes he was in Canada, like Toronto, and I think
who, Guy Fieri?
Yeah, I think Montreal. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that one diner. Yeah. So no, we're back at it. So here to start the brand new year off. Got a lot to talk about from this weekend and just the last few days in the whole wrestling world. So if you're listening right now, of course, we will recap and review WWE's first pay-per-view of 2022. Day one happened yesterday out in Atlanta, Georgia. So we'll break it all down there. Atlanta. So we'll get into that. But before we do, got a little bit of clickbait news. And this actually was a little bit of a shocker. Kind of came out of nowhere. Richard, you were the one who first alerted to me as I was in line getting a COVID test. So that kept me busy while I was waiting in line to spit in the tube for myself.
Disgusting.
So, but news came out, courtesy was a Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful. So it was reporting that Toni Storm gone from WWE. That was kind of the original wording. Gone. Not released, just gone. And then as kind of, the news cycle started beginning for this story, it started coming out that apparently she asked for her release. They granted to her. She flown her way home, paid for her own travel way home after that. So it's very interesting.
In Australia or Florida?
No. Just she left the road. They were doing, They were doing their big WWE holiday tour, and I think they had a show in Washington D.C. or whatever. And the next day, she just flew back home. So to whoever we're home in America is,
somewhere in Florida.
I'm guessing Florida. So let me see here.
What's your take on it? A couple days later.
It's a bummer. I mean, I love Toni Storm. We all love Toni Storm. I mean, from obviously her time in the Mae Young Classic, 4 years ago now?
Yeah, and 5 years ago?
No, 2017 and 2018, right?
She was about
using those
4 years ago, yeah.
And then, went on to NXT UK, was amazing there, amazing NXT Women's Champion.
Mm-hmm.
NXT UK Women's Champion. And then, she finally made the move to NXT Prime here in America. So awesome. She's, making her way over, it seems like that's the progression. You go from NXT UK to NXT Prime, then hopefully eventually Raw or SmackDown. So it's just that stepping stone. So when she came to NXT, we were all excited and, she had a pretty good run there. Was close of being in the title picture, right? If I remember correctly, she never won the actual NXT Women's Championship.
No. Didn't she challenged Raquel? Isn't that when they brought,
I think so, yeah.
Is it Raquel or
Ember Moon back in
or Rhea
into
Ripley?
that match?
Oh, that's right. Okay, guys, I'm trying to remember now. It just seems so long ago. Obviously, that was the old era of NXT 1.0, the black and yellow era.
Yeah.
And so, let me see here. That's right. She made it for her first appearance was the War Games in 2019 match.
Oh.
That's right. And then, let's see. Championship match between Io Shirai, Candice LeRae. She returned there 2020. 8-month hiatus. Really? Okay, so end of 2020 that she came to NXT Prime, and then July is when she got called up to SmackDown. So God, she was on NXT Prime for not even a full year. Wow. I'm just bummed because it's like she's an amazing wrestler. She adds such great depth to the women's division, especially on the main roster, SmackDown, where she's at. She's a legit competitor. You got the 4 horsewomen in WWE. And you want other competitors to fill out the roster who are legit competition for them. So you look at Liv Morgan is on the up. We'll get into Bianca Belair and Toni Storm. So I was like, between the 4 horsewomen and then these other amazing female wrestlers who are coming into their own, it just sucks. It's like, it's such a big star that I thought that WWE had in their hands, and she walked away from it all. So I'm just bummed. I don't know what you're thinking, Richard.
I'm with you. I think it's terrible timing on all parts, with Alexa Bliss out for the moment and Asuka out for the moment. It's kind of...
and Bayley's still out.
Yeah, Bayley's injured.
Bayley's injured. That's 3 top tier women. But you also... I mean, part of me is also kind of like... How can you quit when you're getting pushed? And after the year of 80-some wrestlers getting let go and you were not one of them, part of me is just kind of turned my back towards her a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
It's just I've tried to think of a good reason. But I just don't. I don't know. It just seems kind of crappy to me. I mean, it puts Charlotte in a weird place. It's, you're working. I mean, look, there is not another woman in any company anywhere in the world right now that's a bigger star than Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is not my favorite women's wrestler even, but there's no denying that Charlotte Flair is she's the top dog, goat of all goats in terms of women's wrestling. So
so I'm just looking here. So the latest, so since it's been a few days now since the story originally came out, and there's been some fallout from it, some more info. So people are reporting she left WWE because she just felt burnt out from the company. Let's see.
After an 8-month hiatus, she's burnt out already.
Let's see. Sean Ross Sapp, reported she was gone from the company and that she asked for her release. Cassidy Haynes from Bodyslam.net wrote that Storm paid for her own flight home after facing SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks in a triple threat match at a live event Tuesday. So this past Tuesday. And I was just surprised WWE, granted her wish to be requested. So she quit. That was Storm's way of quitting. It was her way of quitting the company. It just sucks because it's like, if you just look at her time on the main roster, it was July to what now? So technically 5 months. I know she, like, they had those vignettes for a couple weeks, and then she finally made an appearance on TV, and then she was gone again for, like, seemed like months, and then she made her come back again and starting this program with Charlotte.
Well, remember, she was on before Survivor Series, and then Survivor Series hit, and then we needed to focus on those storylines, so it got dropped for a minute.
Yeah.
So let's put it into context, and then she's starting to get a mega push.
Yeah.
And is going to be one of the biggest featured matches on a brand new pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And then quits.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I mean, now as far as the actual storyline with Charlotte Flair that she was getting into, I know I think, last time we talked and stuff was, it wasn't maybe booked the best way because, she took a bunch of pie in the face. And then everyone was...
It's all a matter of how you take it.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people were critical. It's like, oh, she took those, like, 2 pie shots and didn't do anything. She just stood there and looked shocked and didn't fight back. You know what I mean? So... Yeah. But then the following week, she did get some revenge through pie in Charlotte's face. So, eye for an eye, pie for a pie.
The Rock would approve.
Yeah. And then, on Christmas Eve, that episode of SmackDown, which they wrestled...
Why are wrestlers so sensitive to stuff like that these days? Do you remember The Rock had a featured SummerSlam match with Billy Gunn, and it was a kiss my ass match, and they had a morbidly obese woman come into the ring, and The Rock forced Billy Gunn's face into her ass.
Oh, was that was SummerSlam, right?
That's The Rock, the biggest celebrity in the world right now.
Was that when they basically
that's SummerSlam and MSG.
Yeah, okay.
But then The Rock wasn't the one that put his butt in the face.
No. But only weirdos like me would remember something like that.
Well, no, so
22 years later.
Yeah. No, so I think the thing is, it's like for Toni Storm, it just sucks because, she did have a SmackDown Women's Championship match against Charlotte Flair on Christmas Eve. She lost, and so I know a lot of people were upset, like, oh, she should have won. It's like, well, no, Charlotte... That's the thing. It's like everyone expects whoever is facing the champion, that person should win right away. It was like, well, no, a champion reign was going to beat multiple people.
The second that happens, like had Toni Storm won the belt, the fans would immediately start going, well, man, Shotzi should be the one to beat Toni.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like they forget that. Who they've been cheering for, and then they immediately want the next person.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, I'm surprised WWE allowed this, because how many times in the past you've heard stories of people wanting their release, and WWE said, no, you're in the contract, deal with it. Yeah. So I'm really surprised they just let her go. So I don't know. Maybe they're like, okay, listen, if you're not happy, it's like, okay, we'll just save some money then from not paying you anymore. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious why they're so easy to let someone go now versus like years ago. They were like, no, you're in the contract. Deal with it. Sit in catering. You know what I mean? So that's what's kind of fascinating to me.
She's not a top star. She's
not yet.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, she's new to TV. Like, you hear her responses from the audience. It's a good response, but it's not like a star response. So she's not at that level, or wasn't at that level yet, and will never be at that level now. So,
yeah. So I'm, I wish her the best. I don't know how long, when you request your release and you get it and you leave. I don't know if you still have a 90-day no compete clause.
Probably.
I'm not sure how that contract goes, but so theoretically,
probably case by case depending on the situation.
I mean, because you look at Andrade, when he left WWE, he was on AEW within a couple weeks, so he just walked over there. So
and Kyle O'Reilly as well.
Well, Kyle O'Reilly, his contract just ran out, so he was free to go wherever he wants the next day. So I'm saying with Andrade, he was able to go to the competition right away. So with Toni Storm, who knows? But if the rumors are true that it's partly burnout, hopefully, maybe she just takes some time off the road and just recoup, collect herself.
They won't bring her back.
So, I'm curious where she goes next now.
Yeah, same with Johnny Gargano as well.
Yeah, so does she go to AEW, Impact? I mean, go back to Japan. I know she did amazing things in Japan. She's only 26 years old, so, I mean, her future is very bright as far as potential option. The indie scene's picking up again, so...
Maybe something with the NWA, I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, it's... she has options in front of her, but it's
too bad MLW doesn't have a women's division.
They do now.
They do now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just amazing though. Like someone walks away from the biggest company, but hey, if you're not happy or whatever your reason is, I mean, that's on you. I mean, that's great. I mean, whatever. If you look out for yourself and what's in your best interest. I mean, if you feel like you need to break away from that for your well-being, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Here's my, I don't mean to sound like a complete dick, but if this is going to be one of those deals where someone says it's for emotional issues or whatever, you don't belong in the business. I'm sorry. It's a tough business. Don't try it. Don't sign WWE. Stay on the indies. Like there how many people now, like in the last couple of years, that just like they leave because they can't handle it. Like I get it. If you've got anxiety or whatever, just quietly disappear then. Because like to me it doesn't look good. Like, it's not a good look.
Well, so like I said, it's just for me. It's just a bummer because her potential to be a true star it's amazing. Like she's only 26. Imagine where she could have been like over the next 5 years and still be in her early 30s. So it's just a bummer because, I love the 4 Horsewomen, but it's nice to get a new rotation of stars and building new stars.
But
and
guess who's dependable?
The 4 Horsewomen.
Yep.
Yeah. So
which is why you keep a belt on Triple H through the years. And you keep a belt on Charlotte and Roman and Brock because they're dependable.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm just bummed because you could have thought the different combinations. She could have, had Charlotte, Sasha, Becky maybe down the road, Bailey, or going up against.
Start something in with Rhea on American soil.
Rhea Ripley, that's right. I mean, hell, with Asuka, I mean, just the combination of matches with the women that's currently on the roster, it just would have been great for her and just her body of work, but we'll never see it now. So, like I said, I'm bummed that she's gone. I wish her the best. I hope she gets over whatever she's going through or whatever. But I do kind of see the same point what you said, Richard, as far as there's a lot of people getting released. I do see the other side. It's like, wow, these people wanted to stay, and she wanted to leave. So
they weren't getting a push.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting just how people's perspective to this whole situation is.
But do you think they'll bring in someone that would be like kind of fill the void of someone like a Toni Storm?
I was thinking about that, and I think the only there's 2 people that come to mind that they could pull because they need another lead character is Io Shirai or Raquel Gonzalez.
Yeah.
But Raquel's in a title match right now, so it's just kind of like, well, they're not going to pull her.
Or Dakota Kai, maybe.
Oh, I'd love them. Anywho.
We'll see how New Year's Evil plays out this week on TV.
Is that this week?
That's this week.
Yeah.
This Tuesday.
So I have to watch NXT this week.
You gotta watch Braun Breaker win the championship, man. It's happening.
You know what we didn't talk about in our pre-talk is we lost a Bay Area wrestling legend this week. Kirk White.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's I'm thank you for reminding me about that. Yeah. Sad news to report. Owner of one of the big wrestling promotions out here in the Bay Area, Big Time Wrestling, Kirk
Since
White.
1996.
Yeah, Kirk White passed away. I believe he passed away peacefully in his sleep on Christmas Eve, and he was 62 years old, I believe it was.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Let me just double check. I'm just checking on their, let's see, Instagram. He was 63 years old. Okay. Yeah. So obviously our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. Just very sad news. And, over the last few days, the whole Bay Area wrestling scene has, spoken up and shared posts and stories about Kirk and what he means to them. And
even Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey as well, obviously, because, she's got started Big Time Wrestling. I don't know, Richard, anything did you want to say or mention about this? Or
no, just it's a fairly big loss for the Bay Area. He's been consistent for 25 years. 25 years.
So, yeah, I mean, you think about it,
got Bailey started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Natty posted about him.
The Harts are close with them, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Kirk works with Bret Hart in some capacity. I heard people say he's like his manager or something, but Bret Hart, his current wife is from the Bay Area, so Bret Hart does come to the Bay Area quite frequently for like the holidays and stuff. Yeah. And so he does make an appearance with Kirk, or that's why Kirk's able to bring him in, for shows and whatnot. Even Natty, said like, hey, after her dad, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, got released from WWE or whatever, Kirk booked him on shows, so she was always, thankful for that. So Kirk White, as you mentioned, yes, for the last 25 years as a wrestling promotion, independent wrestling promotion, he gave a lot of opportunities for upcoming wrestlers in the Bay Area to get their start.
And the veterans.
Veterans who were working the indie scenes. So Kirk, gave them work as well. So, listen, we're very fortunate. We have a lot of good, amazing wrestling promotions here in the Bay Area. So he provided work for a lot of these people. And so, helped make the wrestling scene here in the Bay Area just really thrive and consistent for so many years. And Tommy and I, went to big time wrestling shows back in the day. Mm-hmm. We saw a young AJ Styles, right, Tommy?
Yeah, he wrestled, Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah. And we
had the match on film somewhere.
We saw Goldust. We've seen a lot of people. Abyss, and but even still, in recent years, we've made some shows out there. So, big time wrestling, like I said, they've been a major part of the Bay Area wrestling scene.
And I think we did see a young Bailey.
We did. In her career. We did see Bailey in person there. So. Like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Kirk White, and sorry to see him go. Rest in peace. And thank you, Richard, for reminding me about that. I appreciate that. All right, let's jump into the pay-per-view. WWE Day One. Actually, it's not even pay-per-view anymore. They're calling it
IPPV.
Premium live event. Is that
the new terminology?
Yeah,
I like IPPV.
IPP. What's IPP?
What does that Internet pay-per-view.
Internet pay.
Oh yeah.
No, let's see. They
it's like how they were talking. I was listening. Oh yeah, premium live event.
Premium live event. That's what they're calling it on Peacock. Is a premium live event.
We're not calling it that.
They're trying not to use the word pay-per-view anymore.
We're not calling it that.
It's not technically on pay-per-view. It's on Peacock.
If you think about it, though, that makes a ton of sense because you're going to confuse people, probably older people like my dad, into thinking that it's on there, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So if you eliminate the PPV, because PPV does stand for pay per view.
Yes.
You're not going to confuse an older audience.
Right.
Yeah. And if you listen to the dirt sheets, demos are important, and the WWE's demo is a lot older apparently than the other company.
For me, I still consider it pay-per-view because it is. We pay, you still pay for it in some capacity.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Peacock and we have the second tier of Peacock because we just connect it with, but we get it for free still because it's part of our Xfinity package, but we still pay our Xfinity bill and stuff. So I think that domino effect.
Yeah. It's all under the same umbrella.
Yeah. We're still paying. Yeah. We still pay for Peacock and its service. So that's an event on Peacock that I paid for. So it's a pay-per-view event. That's how I see it as.
Yeah.
But I'm old school too. I grew up in the pay-per-view world. So.
Yep.
But yeah, they're really they're pushing the term premium live event down our throats all show yesterday. So.
That's the first time I've ever heard that term.
So, but yeah, Richard, get your thoughts on, day one, the first pay-per-view of the year for WWE.
2 major thumbs up from me. I thought it was spectacular.
I enjoyed it.
Come on.
No, I thought some matches easily just could have been on Raw or SmackDown. But, I mean, this was the story of one match. I mean, literally, this pay-per-view was like the big sell was one match, and that's everyone was tuning in for.
Yes.
Especially if you're tuning in an hour before the show started.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So, yesterday afternoon, I think about 3 o'clock our time. Roman Reigns tweeted out, "I yearn to perform tonight at WWE Day 1 to defend my Universal Championship. However, unfortunately, early today I tested positive for COVID-19. Due to the proper protocols, I am unable to compete as originally scheduled. I look forward to returning to action as soon as possible." And then with that being said, WWE quickly announced that Brock Lesnar has now been added to the WWE Championship match. So originally it was a fatal 4-way, made it to a fatal 5-way match. So, all right, Brock and Roman for the Universal Championship off the books now. Move Brock over to the WWE Championship match here. So, that being, yeah,
it's what I've heard about. The promoting business is always, if you have to change something, you need to put something of equal or greater value in there.
And this was a great quick resolve, I thought.
Oh, for sure.
Solution, yeah. Thank you to Tim from Pro Wrestling Unlimited who originally alerted me to this, and I quickly text you guys, be like, "Oh my God, Roman has COVID. He's out. Brock's been added to the WWE Championship match." And then, Richard, to your credit, you immediately wrote back, "Oh my God, we're finally getting Lashley and Brock in the ring together." So, I mean, hey, there's some silver lining there in that sense. So, that was cool. So with that being said, I think originally everyone was hyped for Roman versus Brock. How it was going to play out.
For me, it's like, I don't know. You and I have seen that. We've seen that match in person. So it's not like it's this great thing that we've never seen before.
Which one? Brock versus Roman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on the last pay-per-view. So it
was Crown Jewel. Yeah. I mean, God.
I'm hyped for a good match, but I'm not expecting anything.
I think for us, or for me, what I was intrigued most was, I know we haven't recorded in a couple weeks, but on SmackDown a couple weeks ago, remember Roman fired Paul Heyman, and
or Paulie,
and Roman's like, "Why are you protecting Brock from me?" And then Paul said, "No, I'm protecting you, Roman, from Brock Lesnar." And then Roman Superman punch. Paul Heyman, and they officially broke ties with him. So I think a lot of people were curious what was going to happen on this pay-per-view. Was Paul Heyman going to swerve and still help Roman retain the championship and officially turn on Brock? I mean, there was all these unanswered questions.
Doesn't this add an even bigger wrinkle to that question?
Yes, and I have thoughts about that. I was going to ask you about that when we talk about the main event, what could happen now. So we'll save on that. But, I think going into this, everyone was just happy to see Roman versus Brock. Where's Paul Heyman's alliance go in this situation? Or how's the story continue from what we saw on SmackDown? That was gone. So now it was like all the attention was going to this new main event of the Fatal 5-Way for the WWE Championship. So for me, it was like, it was just being patient, waiting for the main event to happen here. So we'll talk about that in a second. So kickoff show, it was announced Sheamus and Ridge Holland taking on Cesaro and Ricochet. Not much to say here as far as Ridge Holland got injured early on, had a broken nose. Cesaro helped Ricochet do a standing moonsault. And I retweeted the video, but yeah, unfortunately, Ricochet landed his foot. It looked like Ridge Holland's cheek, and then came down and broke his nose from it. Apparently, he was gushing blood.
The shin hits him in the nose.
Yeah,
and then the shin gets out of the way. And he basically steps on his face.
Yeah, I'm rewatching it now. Boom! He stomps him on the cheek, and then he slides down, and his whole weight comes down on his face. So, ow. Oh. Painful. So apparently he was gushing blood. I missed it. I literally had my head turned and was tweeting something, and I missed the spot. And then I just noticed he rolled out of the ring, and it just turned into pretty much a handicap match at that point. And I was just shocked that Michael Cole said, "Yeah, he has a broken nose. He's going to the back now." I'm like, wow. They usually try to make up some excuse of why he's not there. They're afraid to address it. But anyway,
I enjoy Michael Cole much more than I ever have the last couple of years.
Oh, absolutely. Pat McAfee has brought that out of him.
Oh, yeah. Well, for me, I can remember AJ Styles brought it out in him. at one point when AJ debuted, that was the most legit excited I've heard Michael Cole in my life. And I'm like, Michael Cole even knows who he is?
Yeah. So Ridge Holland left the ring and went to the back and was gone for the rest of the match. So it turned to a handicap match. Sheamus, the heel, 2-on-1 against Cesaro and Ricochet. But yeah, anything from this match that really just kind of stood out for you?
Sheamus is a badass.
Oh, absolutely.
Man, that guy is just so good. So underratedly good.
Absolutely. He's, in the last couple years, and, this is something that I got out of him when I talked to him at SummerSlam. He's like, he realized he needed, this is like the last part of his career or whatever. So he really wanted, he felt like he was just he needed to go back out there and put on some banger matches just to kind of reestablish himself and just, how can I say it? Like his career was just kind of like maybe like in a stalemate. So in order to kind of, stand out again, he had to go out there and put on some banger matches, and that's what he's been doing the last couple of years now. So he's really just kind of reinvented himself as just this ass kicker going out there in the ring. So anyway, it just it was interesting here because ultimately Sheamus still gets the victory over the two baby faces. So from a psychology standpoint, you would think these two baby faces are outnumbering the one heel. They should win, but I guess the plan was all along for the heels to go over. So regardless of Ridge Holland not being there or not, it didn't matter. The plan still was for the heels to win. And
to your point about Sheamus is that he did it. He kept the match together to make it, believable still, like that he could pull this off.
Yeah, I was really amazed that watching them, you could tell they're just recalling the match on the fly. It's like, okay, audible here. We got to on the fly refigure how to do this. And I mean, the cameraman ringside had this one shot, and you clearly see Cesaro like whispering Sheamus's ear, like what to do next. And so, I mean, luckily, hey, they're former tag team champions. They got so much chemistry with each other. So, for them to kind of come up with a new match on the fly probably wasn't, I'm sure it wasn't easy to do, but they're pros, so they can handle this no problem. So, they come up with a whole new match. Sheamus hit the white noise on Ricochet on the outside. That was pretty cool. And then came in and just Claymored Cesaro and pinned him. So I'm like, on paper, it looks like Sheamus gave this like babyface comeback of like 2 against 1, but technically he's the heel, so that's why it was a little odd. So it's like you would think they maybe could have also called an audible. And it's like, okay, listen, the babyfaces should win here, but nope. The script said heels win, so the heels had to win no matter what. So that's why I just thought was funny with this whole match here. So Tommy, anything for you for this match?
I actually wasn't paying attention watching this match because I was doing something.
Okay, so the main show kicked off for day one. It was the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. It was the Usos taking on the New Day here.
Pretty standard New Day Usos match. It was great. They did everything. Yeah, it was what it was.
Exactly. That's my thing. It's like, we've seen the Usos versus the New Day so many times over the years. They always deliver. I will give them that. But it's just like, for me, I'm just a tad burnt out of seeing them going at it. Especially they've wrestled each other so much on SmackDown the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Like, they had this match announced for the pay-per-view weeks ago, and they still had a match against each other like 2 weeks ago on SmackDown. So it's like, we've seen this match so many times in the last month.
It's the WWE creating their version of the Midnight Express against the Rock and Roll Express. They're intertwined forever. When you think of one, you will think of the other.
And that is true. I mean, at the end of the day, when these guys all probably go in the Hall of Fame at whatever point, you'll look back.
All in as one induction.
Since you guys wrestle each other so many times, you're going in as one package deal here.
That's it. Now go home.
Bye. Goodbye, everyone. But yeah, no, the Usos and the New Day, I would love to know how many times they actually wrestle each other, especially since the New Day formed. It's a lot. I mean, but it's like, listen, I mean, to their credit, they always deliver great matches. I mean, this match was awesome. But Richard, as an ECW fan, I want to ask you about the finish. with
the 3D.
Usos using the 3D here for the victory.
2 thumbs up. I didn't see it coming. I saw him pick him up. And I'm thinking, was he going to super kick him? And it was like 3D. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Like, I liked the finish as far as the Usos did the stereo super kick on, I think it was Kofi. And then they did the double frog splash, and then he kicked out, and then they did the 3D, and that went ended it. So I was like, oh, okay. So
I will say what I think is really cool about their matches is it always feels like if you watch, or if you play chess with somebody, and it's the same person, and it's like you can't really call who's going to win, and it's going to be a little bit different every time.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's still the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm good with not seeing this for, like ever again. But
well, that's the thing. I was thinking, it's like, who's wrestled more, Usos versus New Day or Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? It's like, WWE creative sometimes. I think they're like, okay, we know these two guys.
I still rather watch the Usos against the New Day just because it's more people and
possibilities.
Possibilities are bigger.
But it's just funny because it's like, man, WWE, it's like when they know they got something good, they'll keep going back to the well and doing it over and over.
Man, we just saw them here in the Bay Area at Raw. And I mean, even though we've seen it, like it's still over everywhere it goes.
Absolutely. I mean, people on Twitter were loving this match, rightfully so. But for me, it's just like, okay, let's have a break for a while now. Like, separate them.
Yeah.
Come up with some new storylines. Usos, get some new challengers. New Day, maybe they can go separate ways for a while, like singles pushes, like King Woods can do something. I don't know. It's just, for me, it's like, okay, enough is enough. So, it's time for a change. So,
oh my God.
Sorry. No, did you see Natty? So she tweeted yesterday a photo of her and Liv Morgan and was like saying good luck to Liv Morgan. And she says, enough is enough. It's time for a change. And then I tweeted to her, I see what you did there. And then I gave like a wink emoji and she liked it. It was like, yeah, I know what you're doing.
Oh my God.
Owen Hart. Yes. So
speaking of likes on Twitter,
I'm not a nugget.
Braun Breaker liked my tweet of my Braun Breaker t-shirt that I just got through WWE Shop.
Bam.
Christmas gift for Tommy. So, all right, next up, it was Drew McIntyre taking on Madcap Moss, Happy Corbin out there ringside. I mean, this match was 9 minutes and 45 seconds. This match should not have been at more than 5 minutes, Richard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're looking, I think with a lot of the main event matches, they're trying to fill some time because they lost a main event match.
Yeah.
That being said, I was very entertained with this match. And I feels like Madcap Moss, Riddick Moss, deserves a nice pat on the back for his efforts with Drew.
Yeah, exactly.
I think everyone was kind of expecting this to be a 3-minute semi-squash of him just getting thrown around, but like, damn, he did good.
Exactly. I mean, going into this, this is one of the matches I thought could easily just been on SmackDown, or it could be on the kickoff show. But with that being said, yeah, you're right, Richard, as far as going in, I thought this should not have been very long because you got Madcap Moss, who's more just the sidekick for Happy Corbin. He's the goofball, tells the goofy dad jokes.
They're not goofy. They're really good jokes.
And then you got Drew McIntyre, who's a former 2-time WWE champion. So where there are in the hierarchy of the WWE roster, you would think Drew McIntyre should just dominate here. No, it went almost 10 minutes. But I get it. They're down one less match on the card, so they probably told him stretch this out for an extra 5 minutes. So I get that from a time standpoint. It's like, okay, guys, go out there and just fill some time. we're down one less match for the show. Just help to stretch this out a bit. So I get that. You know me. I love Drew McIntyre.
Member of the In The Kliq podcast at this point. He's been on enough.
He's been on more times than Jimbo in the last year and a half. So.
Almost me.
So with Drew McIntyre, like, you know, this match just showed how much of a freak of nature he is. Just, you know, how strong he is, the moves he can do. He was even like standing on his head in the corner, remember, and just flipped out. I thought that was pretty cool. But Madcap Moss, like I said, Richard, you brought up a good point. Like, kudos to him showing his athleticism and his strength.
Guy at the bottom of the card. I mean, he's not even in the mid card area. He's new. He's a new character, bottom of the barrel. Like, he's not a known name in NXT. He's not a known name in WWE. He's a WWE member, trained by WWE, and kudos to him. Great job.
Yeah, I mean, even at one point, you know, he was throwing Drew around a bit, and then he ran like full speed into the turnbuckle, like that lower turnbuckle with his shoulder. I was like, ouch, that looked like it hurt. So, like I said, I mean, for Madcap, you know, the guy is athletic, and so he held his own in this match with Drew McIntyre. So it is what it is. But Drew ultimately got the victory, hit the Claymore on him, and picked up the win. But then after the match, later on in the night, Drew was looking for the locker room, and then he saw the one commentator, and he's like, "Hey, you got a microphone? Let's do an interview." And I was like, "Okay." So he's doing an interview, and then Happy Corbin and Madcap come out and attack him, and then they put his head through a chair, and Happy Corbin grabbed like that big steel metal thingamajig and pretty much Pillmanized him, and he took him out, and WWE said he had some injury on the.
I won't be back.
Well, it's being reported he does have a legit injury, so I think
he hurt him real bad.
So this is an injury angle to write him off TV, but apparently he's been having some nagging issues, I think, in the neck and stuff. So that's a little scary. I hope Drew is not gone for too long. Hopefully he can be back before WrestleMania season. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. But
what's the next pay-per-view?
Royal Rumble. Oh, yeah. Maybe he can make... Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. If he just takes out... If he's out for a few weeks, and makes a big surprise return at the Royal Rumble, that'd be great. But, you know, if this is a legit injury that he's been dealing with, he's been one... I think he's wrestled the most matches in 2021 for WWE. So, and, you know, in 2020, he was WWE champion. So, you know, he's been busting his ass for WWE for the last couple years on the road, doing press, all that stuff. So, if he needs a little time off from the ring just to heal up, I hope, you know, takes advantage of that and comes back even stronger. So, you know, we wish Drew McIntyre all the best. Actually, before I forget real quick, speaking of the Royal Rumble, you just reminded me.
I was going to bring it up.
Okay. Johnny Knoxville posted this video early in the morning saying he wants to throw his name in the hat and be in the Royal Rumble this year. And I thought it was just kind of like a joke.
I did too, until WWE announced it.
Yeah, and they showed the video. So he is the first entrant in the Royal Rumble this year.
He's the first announced entry.
Entry, yeah.
Don't say the first entrant.
No, yeah, sorry. But what's your thoughts, man?
I love it. I am such a big Jackass Johnny Knoxville fan. I'm way into it.
Okay, me too. I love it.
Here's the thing. The Jackass guys, Pontius, Steve-O, Knoxville, like, they're the only celebrity guests that get physically interactive with the WWE universe. So it's like, fuck. You remember Umaga beating the crap out of Steve-O? And, like, Steve-O and Pontius have a video on YouTube breaking down second by second what was going on, what it felt like. And it's just like, they told Umaga, like, hit us as hard as you can, we can take it. And then, like, the first time they got hit, it's like, man, I wasn't expecting that. And there was so much more to go.
Well,
he said, you know, when you do the frog splash, lay it in, and it's just like, oh God, why?
You forget Johnny Knoxville. He did. Remember, he was in that movie called The Ringer, and
I love that movie. It's
Terry Funk and Jesse Ventura were in that movie.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow. Jesse Ventura did that movie.
Yes, he was in that movie.
The reason why I'm so surprised, if you're not familiar with the movie The Ringer, go look up what the movie's about. And you'll be surprised why the former Minnesota governor is in this movie. So,
how does he talk? Like, hi, I'm Jesse Ventura.
Hi, I'm Jesse Ventura. Welcome to Jackass.
So,
look, if Drew Carey could come in and be nerdy and do nothing and still get in the Hall of Fame.
Johnny Knoxville, this match will solidify his WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes, and I'm so for that.
Or the whole Jackass crew will be in the celebrity wing.
Yes, please.
No, here's the thing. I saw on Twitter a lot of people were kind of complaining. It's like, oh, how dare he's an actor. He's taking a spot of one of 30 superstars in the Royal Rumble match.
It's all fixed. It's a work. Get over it.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, here's the thing. We know WWE likes working with movie companies and other promotions and media outlets to promote product and work together in synergy. You saw that with The Egg, with Vince McMahon back in November. The zombies. This is obviously
which has aged surprisingly well.
It had. Oh, really? But here's the thing. Royal Rumble is the last weekend in January. Jackass Forever, the fourth movie, comes out February 4th. So they're within the same week. So it makes sense Johnny Knoxville being in the Royal Rumble, doing an appearance there. It's one big advertisement for the movie. I get that. It makes sense.
They're going to get so much more out of that.
Exactly.
On both sides.
Mainstream coverage
the
press.
movie is going to get a great amount of coverage from it. And you know that, like, WWE is going to get a fair amount because, like, that's an MTV product.
Yeah. To the younger fan base.
And it's extremely, like, that's our age demographic.
Yeah, exactly.
And the younger. And this is also the Jackass movie where they're bringing in the next generation to continue the
Yeah, so is that what that was in the trailer? I saw like young people doing stuff.
There's a bunch of new guys that are going to be in it, that are going to be the ones taking the violence that the old guys have created.
Okay, I got to ask Steve-O, because we had Steve-O on last month, and he gave me his new number and everything, so I'll have to ask him about that, like, what's going on here. So maybe we can get Steve-O on.
Have him on. We'll talk about the Umaga beatdown.
Okay, well, I'll text him about this. Like, come on, man. So anyway, I know people are complaining. It's like, oh, you're taking one of the wrestlers' spots.
That's the stupidest argument.
But it's like, listen, yeah, you're right, Richard. It's predetermined. Johnny Knoxville's not taking one of the main eventers.
He's not winning.
Yeah,
he's not going to win it.
He's not going to take whoever they want to win the Royal Rumble. He's not taking their spot.
He's going to take up 3 minutes of television time.
And if anyone, he's just taking maybe someone from the 24/7 division.
Joe Gacy could have been in there for that 3 minutes.
No, but it's like, I mean, whose spot is he taking that they could put instead there? Yeah, someone from the 24/7 division, someone low-key on the roster. It doesn't matter.
Depending on who's going to throw him out, it could be a moment for that person that they show him in for years to come.
Exactly, like Kane and Drew. Was it Kane and Drew Carey, right? Yeah.
Kane and Drew Carey. Anyone within a celebrity. You know, like
Kane and
Pete Rose. My God. The best use of a celebrity ever.
So yeah, this is going to be footage for years to come. Johnny Knoxville is the new.
You know what I hated? I hated it when Jon Stewart cost John Cena the world title at SummerSlam. Oh, that was the worst. Why did they throw like someone that's going to be there in that spot?
But then again, you think about it. Here is
it's my ass.
Well, it just it's.
I love it. It's great.
Well, and WWE's probably going to make some money from it with this business deal. So whatever. It's.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a fairly big Jackass fan, and Shane McMahon is actually in Jackass 4.
Really?
If you look on IMDb, he's in the movie.
Oh wow! I didn't.
Okay.
What he's doing in the movie, I've got no idea. Maybe jumping out the helicopter.
Let's see. Shane McMahon as Shane McMahon. Wow. Okay. We'll see. Maybe he's dressed up as someone. He's like
I think he's
old man outfit or something. I don't know. So anyway, I'm looking forward to Royal Rumble in that spot. I'm all for it. I love Jackass. So all right, next up was the Raw Tag Team Championship match. RK Bro against the Street Profits.
Oh man, this was fun.
It was fun. I mean, my only issue
was Migos.
Migos came out with RK Bro. Like,
okay. I'm gonna flex like this.
So, I mean, like, listen. Great match here. RK Bro is probably the most
celebrity rub.
Yeah. They're probably the most over thing on Raw right now, RK Bro.
Yeah. Well, Randy Orton is super over in Atlanta. I know that for sure. My God, that crowd was hot for Randy.
And listen, I get it. Like, it's funny. He's like, they keep saying he's best friends with Migos for like the last 6-7 years now. Like, I guess
they're
met.
Huge wrestling fans. What's his name? Offset owns a bunch of Ric Flair's robes.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he made that Ric Flair drip song. He's the guy who made the Ric Flair drip song.
Oh, okay. Sorry for my lack of knowledge of all that. So I'm sorry.
I'm in tune with the youth. Okay. I'm hip.
That's good. I respect that.
I mean, if this was a visual podcast, people would see that I'm sitting in a chair backwards to relate to them. That's how my generation relates to the youth.
I always think of AC Slater on Saved by the Bell. That's how he sat at the max, right, Tommy? He pulled the seat around and sits like this.
It's cool. Kids, I want to talk to you today about a wrestler from my day named Bret Hart.
So, my only issue was it's like, it's babyface versus babyface. So, there wasn't like a lot of heated, rivalry going into this match. Yeah.
No, but I liked it. It also kind of made me. I liked it a lot. I thought this was a really fun match, but it also made me think, man, this would have been better if we got New Day against RKO or RK Bro, and we got Street Profits against the Usos.
True, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, obviously, the
we
whole
got
brand
the same
split.
Shoe with one, and then something completely new with the other. And
yeah. I mean, the match was fine. It was a little over 11 minutes. If you notice, Montez Ford has been growing out his hair a little bit and beard. Yeah. So I'm like, is that setting up a heel turn, like a new look? I don't know. I'm just,
who knows with him? I loved it before the match even started. He's doing these dance moves to throw Randy off, and Randy's just staring him down.
But the match, RK Bro got their formula. Riddle starts. He takes a beating.
I thought this was probably the best match I've seen Street Profits in. I think that they looked really good against them. They looked like they were legitimate competition.
Well, and for RK Bro, to their credit, they're really gelling out. They're on the same page. They're really, they're on the team is really just solidified. They're bros, and they got this bromance going. It's all working. They're
stallions, bro.
Yeah, they're thriving right now. But the match formula, it's Riddle takes a beating most of the match. Randy waits for the hot tag, and the crowd's amping up for it. When Randy finally gets a hot tag, he comes and beats everyone up, and then they, finish off the match that way. But I love the finish here where Riddle almost an alley-oop. He throws Montez Ford up, and Randy just hits the RKO on him.
He's going to flapjack him.
Yeah.
God, it's so good.
So great finish. It was a great finish. And then, since they're all baby faces, they're all kind of celebrating the ring together.
I like Migos. That. I like that they all got that photo shot with Migos and the two tag teams in the ring at the same time, and no one got jumped or anything. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. So, no, it was good. For what it was totally fine. Fun match, fun moment for everyone. Everyone goes home happy there. So, next up, it was Edge taking on The Miz. Maurice out there ringside. I was surprised this match went 20 minutes. Edge, every match, I think his goal in his return, he always wants to have the longest match on the card now. I mean, if you think about, since his return over the last couple of years, it's, he's always had the longest match.
It's the retirement tour.
Yeah.
So he's got time to make up for it. He's only got X amount of matches on this deal, and he's going to make the most of it.
The match was fine.
He's going to give them a reason to pay him more for more matches.
Yeah, down the road. Yeah. Tommy, you brought up an interesting point of this match, right, as far as the chemistry?
Oh, yeah. I thought their continuity was really good.
Yeah.
Edge and Miz?
No. I thought you were talking to... Oh, no, I thought I thought their match was... I just thought it wasn't that good. I just thought
They seemed off, right?
They just seemed off. Their chemistry wasn't as good as I expected it would be. It was just
I thought that this match went longer than they thought it would, even because if you watched Maurice like I was, she was looking over her shoulder throughout the entire thing, and I think it was because she is expecting Beth Phoenix a lot sooner than it was supposed to happen.
Yeah, no, it was interesting because, like, I noticed the camera was kind of constantly cutting to Maurice, and she was
from a bottom angle looking up.
But they were also kind of like lurking on her, like focused on her a lot. So I was like,
"Well,
it's
look at
interesting."
her.
Well, yeah, but it's interesting that they're constantly focusing on her, and I'm like, why? Like, it's interesting. Like, why are they keep kind of cutting to her? That's a little bit more than the normal. So, and it was even kind of weird. You know, she kind of tripped coming to the ring with Miz. So I don't know if she was kind of walking a little weird after that. So I hope she didn't like bust her ankle or anything, twist or sprained it. But it was just weird. She kept like looking like she was waiting for her timing to do something. So she was like waiting for her signal to do something. And eventually at one point she grabbed the Miz's leg and puts it on the rope.
And like, she's a pro, so it's not like she doesn't know what she's doing. Like, now she's thrown off. Like, to me, it just looked like she was thrown off.
Yeah. So it was just like interesting. Just like she just like, I don't know if she was just kept waiting for her spot. Yeah. I mean, Edge and Miz were okay. I was with Tommy, or I agree with Tommy. Like, it just, maybe they just don't have a lot of experience working together, so it just really felt like they were going to second gear. I mean, Miz wrestles such a safe wrestling style, so he's not going to go as crazy as Edge and Seth Rollins would have.
The worst figure four. He's too short to do a figure four. I won't say the chemistry wasn't there, because the last 5 minutes I thought it was really there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I thought it picked up pretty good the last 5 minutes. It just felt like that first 15 was forever.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, I like these long, like slow-paced matches because they build up to having, you know, they build up to having a really good match. But I just felt this one was just a little bit off. I thought they didn't gel right away. I thought
maybe they were waiting for Beth to get her hair finished.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, so that's the thing, is ultimately we see Maurice get involved trying to help the Miz, and then ultimately we see the crowd look over up the ramp. It's like, okay, what's going on? But like no music was playing or anything, and they finally cut to the top of the ramp, and you see Beth Phoenix standing there, like mean face.
I don't work for NXT anymore.
So
Viking like, woman.
And, well, that's the thing. It's like she's standing there, like, oh my god, Beth Phoenix, and then like it was like a weird delay. They finally hit her music, and then she starts stomping down, and she just chased. So it was a little odd timing. It wasn't smooth there, but regardless, she chased Maurice out of the ring, and Miz was distracted, and you see Edge in the corner just waiting to give the spear, and then Miz turns around, takes the spear, and then Edge makes the pin and wins, and then Edge and Beth pose in the ring together.
And can I also comment on Corey Graves' commentary during these matches, or especially
I hope it's the same feelings I have.
The whole, like, Jerry Lawler, Horn Dogs shtick with him, it's not working for him. It's very borderline cringy.
He tries to do Lawler, he tries to do Ventura, and he tries to do Heenan. Yes. And he makes it obvious to the point where he's stealing their lines.
Right.
And, like, to me, it's just like, he was really good when they had him overworked. When he was tired and he was doing Raw, SmackDown, NXT, like, he was really good then. Yeah. And then when they gave him a rest, it's just like, oh, now I can use all these jokes I wrote down.
So
McAfee kind of stole his thunder.
McAfee is like magic. I love him so much. Yeah. So much.
Yeah, absolutely.
They need to keep him because he brings the right energy for the new crowd of fans and the older crowd of fans.
I kind of want to see him, do some matches on Raw.
I don't. Unless it's to keep him there, but like.
No, I mean, give one of the guys a day off and have him fill in for a bit,
I I don't want to see that. I think we got. I think we got lucky with him in Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Don't push his luck.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly. Because
right.
it's a matter because he's not a wrestler. He's like he's a punter. You know.
Yeah, but
how much of an athlete are you if you're?
He was trained. He was trained by Rip Rogers. You know, so.
So
who's he ever beat?
Yeah, but.
Well, it's funny. Beth Phoenix tweeted out photo after saying they're the grit couple. Her and Edge, they're posing in the ring.
God.
So like how Miz and Maurice are the it couple, they're the grit 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 couple. So I'm guessing this is going to probably lead a match at Royal Rumble. Beth Phoenix, Edge versus Miz and Maurice at Royal Rumble. I'm guessing that's what it's leading towards. So, all right, cool. You know.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Yes, okay. All right, next up for the Raw Women's Championship, it was Becky Lynch taking on Liv Morgan here. It's
tale of two matches, man. Like
as far as go ahead.
Okay, so I like Liv Morgan, and I thought when I watched the match that they had on Raw a few weeks ago. That everyone was praising Liv Morgan for. I felt when I watched that Becky Lynch was very much controlling that match with someone in the ring that was not ready to be in the ring with her. And I thought it was a bit slow and clunky, even though the internet thought that it was this stellar thing. I thought the day one match was a stellar match that Liv Morgan improved dramatically within 2 or 3 weeks time frame. And major props to Liv Morgan for that. I thought the match was a lot of fun. I thought they told some great stories about the arm injury and Liv going after the arm. My only thing, I wish that Liv went after the arm more often. Yeah. But I thought that the fact that she got the jump on Becky Lynch early in the match from the start, I loved it. I thought it was a really good match, and I think the fact that Becky won, and she, even though she tried to cheat, she didn't cheat, probably because of the placement of the ladies. But I think fans come out of this even more in Liv's corner, and Liv will most likely be the champion at Mania. I think that they can drag this out to then to where people care so much for Liv Morgan, because if you recall when they did this to Daniel Bryan a few years ago, people were so upset that he wasn't in the Royal Rumble match, that he was never announced to be in the Royal Rumble match for. And how much did they care when he won it at WrestleMania? A ton. So this is how WWE gets people to care about someone more than a little. And they get you to care for them a lot.
Yeah, I like this the story here as far as, Becky's the more experienced competitor, so she was outsmarting Liv Morgan, because every time Liv would throw her back in the ring, Becky would just roll out on the other side and just kept going on outside the ring. It's like
classic heel move.
Yeah. I love the sunset flip powerbomb Liv Morgan hit on Becky in the corner.
Gorgeous.
It looked smooth. It looked great. So it was really a great move right there. So.
Well, she kept up with her.
Yeah. And I mean the ending, a little bit, maybe a botch as far as their placement. I think Becky was trying to cheat to win by putting her feet on the rope, but she was too far away, so she couldn't do it. So like, all right, well,
it's a non-botch botch.
Yeah, I mean, she still hit her finisher. Was it a manhandle slam or So she still hit it. And, she still won from that. But I think to really sell that she's a heel, was going to use the ropes. But like I said, the placement was just too far away. So with that being said, Becky wins. She retains the title. I think she's going to be champion all the way through WrestleMania. Now, who does she face? That's the question. I'm with you. I think Liv Morgan has improved over the last month. I mean, like a few weeks ago, she cut a promo, and I thought she seemed a little nervous, and her delivery was a little off.
Yeah. Talking about that little girl.
Yeah. So it's just, maybe it's just nerves. This is a big opportunity for her. She's always been kind of in the mid card. She's actually getting a push now in the main event scene. So
how much more would people care if Becky costs her the Royal Rumble match, and whoever beats her and goes on to win the Rumble challenges Becky, and now Liv has to face two people at WrestleMania? and then Liv beats him.
So that's the thing. What I'm thinking is Liv Morgan showed she could hang in the actual ring. Now, how do you reward that? The crowd loves her. I'm thinking, next year, or this year.
April.
Yeah. Is it a Royal Rumble win or is it Money in the Bank win at some point? So I think there are some opportunities here.
I think she's going to beat Becky in a fair match.
I kind of wonder if Bianca Belair is going to be the one to still beat Becky at WrestleMania. I kind of wonder if they're going to go that route. I
just think if they're going to have Becky win it, Liv win it, it's not going to be against Charlotte. Her chances are with Becky, and she still has a feud with Becky. Now, Becky can say, I don't have to challenge, or I've beaten you twice now. I don't need to face you again. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't have to. Yeah. The authority figures can say, look, there's other ladies in line, and Liv can force their hand by winning the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here because, like you said, Liv Morgan is a strong favorite to Royal Rumble. I think Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley.
The best part of this match is that both women were one move away from winning.
Yeah, exactly. So you have the Royal Rumble. Who knows? Elimination Chamber, if they're going to have some sort of 2.0 type of stipulation where the winner has a championship match at WrestleMania from that, or Money in the Bank. So there are opportunities for Liv Morgan to eventually get another title shot at some point. So I think I said strong showing from her. I think she's really winning over the audience as like
she's
the underdog.
Had the audience for a while.
Yeah.
She's had the audience since the Rusev Lana Bobby Lashley wedding.
Oh God.
Well, speaking of Bobby Lashley,
segue.
Yes.
The Almighty
main event time. Fatal 5-way match for the WWE Championship. The main event here: Big E defending against Brock Lesnar.
Now you're speaking my language.
Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Lashley. Man, I mean,
over-delivered.
Mm-hmm. Like the match on Wikipedia says 8 minutes and 25 seconds. That match, I think it didn't need to be long.
No.
It didn't overstay its welcome. It was
just there was so much going on. Spots, like in a good way. Spot fest.
Well, you give WWE credit when they're got their backs to the wall and they got to come up with a new story quickly. They usually deliver, and they're really good at these overbooked, like fatal 4-ways, fatal 5-ways. They know how to make them fun.
Yes.
And this match was a lot of fun. It was like a video game, just finisher after finisher after finisher.
Brock came in looking strong, and then he was taking big moves from everybody. I will say this. I think that Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens are going to beat RK Bro for the tag team titles. I also think, I don't know if we're getting it at Mania or at the Rumble, but I think we're going to get Lashley against Lesnar after the finish to the match. Plus, Lashley,
that spear.
Both spears. He speared him through the announce area, the ring announcer area, and then got him in the middle of the ring,
and
then looked like he had him with the hurt lock knocked out. But that visual of those two had me so excited, and it was just because I know that was one of the main reasons why Lashley came back to WWE. Is he wanted to face Brock, and it was just like, oh my God, that's like two legit amateur wrestlers, two legit fighters in cages, two legitimate professional wrestlers of
and
that
two big
size, two big hosses of that size, like I get it. Like people have that fear of Brock and Goldberg, but like, look, that was WrestleMania 20, and they made up for it at the previous, the following matches. Yeah. This is like a solid. These two guys can go, and they will go. I mean, we got that spot with Rollins holding down Brock for Kevin to do the frog splash, and it's just so exciting, this match. The double super kick. Biggie looks strong in a losing effort.
So that's the thing. Okay, so my one thing that kind of annoyed me was, everyone's coming out. Biggie was the fourth person to come out. Brock Lesnar was the 5th and final person to come out. I was like, you're WWE champion. He should be the last person to come out.
No.
But I get it. Brock, that roar.
That pop when he came out, immediately you understand. Because what would Biggie have got if he came out last? Yeah. All flat. Hey, we respect you, but that's Brock Lesnar, and he likes us now.
He's a
Brock
baby
Lesnar's
face.
the big, quarterback bully that decides he wants to be everyone's friend.
I love earlier in the night, they interviewed him, and he pretty much did Paul Heyman's promo word for word, but he did it himself, and he winked at the camera. So it's not a what's it, Tony? Not a fact. It's a spoiler. It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
It's a spoiler. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, this match, I mean, the match within a match that we're all looking forward to was Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. So I think we're all like waiting for them.
We got a taste. A
sample size.
It was an appetizer.
Good. Yeah.
It's a sneak preview.
Little Costco appetizer.
So, I mean, we were waiting. So, yeah, I like how early on, Lashley speared Brock through the barricade and took him out for a bit. Yep. So he was gone for like 5 minutes, whatever it was.
Hold on. So that was the part that was interesting, because at that point, Brock was basically fighting Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins alone.
Yes.
They got him out of the ring, and then you see Lashley come out of nowhere and like getting in his position, and then came at him like a wild animal.
Well, I like what you said as far as Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens. They early in the night agreed they were going to work together in this match, and they stayed. They stayed that the whole time, working together. So I could see them now going off maybe to the tag team route and RK Bro, and that's a WrestleMania right there. Like all 4 big stars in one match.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Brock was taken out, laying there. Lashley, and Big E were going at it. Man. Big E, slammed Bobby Lashley on the table, announcer table. Like, Bobby Lashley's back in the last few weeks taking a beating. Remember he had that like really bad steel
the corner thing. Yeah,
I thought Rick Rude vibes right there when I saw that. I thought of Rick Rude, like when his lower back hit the angle of that steel step. I was like a few weeks ago on Raw. I was like, ow. Yeah. And so even Big E, he knocked Brock out of the ring, so that was a strong showing from him. I thought that was cool. Just for him, like, Big E is W champion. I wanted to see look strong in this match, and so he laid out Brock Lesnar outside the ring. I thought that was a cool little spot there. Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins doing the frog splash outside on the Brock on the outside the ring. It was like, oh my god, like literally, it was like, and then even Brock coming in doing the suplexes. It was like finisher after finisher. It was like a video game, just going at it.
They took Brock out, and then it's like the 4-way match that was supposed to happen. And then out of nowhere, Brock is in the ring and F5ing everyone. It's just like,
and so he comes and starts F5ing everyone.
The speed of I think that's the one thing about Brock that is underrated, is how fast he is. He's scary, scary fast.
Cat-like reflexes.
Yeah.
And so I love how when he got back in the ring, Bobby speared him again for a second time, and but then he F5 everyone, took them all out. But Bobby Lashley was the only one not to get the F5. Like, that is smart book. If you look at the details right there, Bobby Lashley, this whole match, got his offense in on Brock. Mm-hmm. Brock did not lay anything major on Bobby Lashley. So Bobby in this match looks strong. So for what could be next, happen Royal Rumble and whatnot, WrestleMania season. So keep that in mind.
I got a question. Yeah. I got an interesting question.
Okay.
This is complete fantasy booking.
Okay. What is it?
The bloodline with Brock Lesnar against the Hurt Business.
Maybe. Oh. Well, I don't know if Roman and Brock could be on the same page unless Paul Heyman's a miracle worker and put them all together. But
well, I mean, the Hurt Business, if they're going to continue this, it needs a little spice, right?
Yeah,
needs a little something extra.
Well, they reunited for one night.
What about adding Omos?
Maybe. I
love MVP in the manager role. There's something about him in that role like I thought he was okay as a wrestler back in the day in WWE. I liked him outside of WWE more, but him coming back, because if you watch him in this match at ringside, like the one thing I kind of annoys me with Paul Heyman in the last couple years is he just stands there, doesn't yell as much unless like his guy's in trouble, doesn't help his person cheat or anything. He's just there. He's there for emotional support. Yeah. Like when Lashley got the hurt lock in on Brock, you look at MVP outside the ring, like with his arms out, like this is it, and it's just like he's holding that position for so long. It's just like, man, this. I mean, had that been it.
So I mean, that's the thing. So that's the thing. So he got the 2 spears, and then he put the hurt lock on him. And Brock was selling it like he could not get out. And I was like, oh, my God, this looks amazing. Sure enough, Big E came in, made the save, though, got him out, broke out of it. So I was like, oh, man, like Big E made the save right there for that. And then Brock Lesnar ultimately hit the F5 on Big E and pinned him as the new WWE champion. I think I was shocked. Everyone in the building was probably shocked. Twitter was shocked. I mean, amazing. They pulled the trigger here and made Brock Lesnar champion, who wasn't even scheduled to be in the match like 2 hours beforehand, before the show. I mean, he was added 2 hours before.
I mean, Brock is hot right now, and what are you going to do? Like you don't have Roman for at least a week, another week or two. Yeah. And like he's so hot, keep him hot. Because now you can get, let's say we get Lashley and Lesnar at the Rumble, and Roman can cost Lesnar the match, and then that restarts that angle. Luckily, I hate to say it like this because COVID's not funny or anything, but it's good timing on Roman that he got it at the beginning of the month and not closer to the Rumble. So
yeah. I mean, there is a little. I mean, we wish Roman all the best and speedy recovery, and hopefully he's fine and gets taken care of. But the silver lining is this new storyline that's being created out of this situation here on this pay-per-view with Brock Lesnar being champion. Now, like I said, it was just interesting. Bobby Lashley got his offense in on Brock. Brock never hit an F5 on him, and then after Brock won, they really focused the camera on the two of them staring each other down. So it's like really foreshadowing. Okay.
Nothing else. A good call, because I was just excited that Lashley was eyeing him. Like the camera didn't even go over to Big E, who just lost his belt.
So that's what I want to ask you. A lot of people were upset that Big E ate the pin here. When you have a fatal 5-way, you could have maybe had someone else take the pin, and that way Big E looks strong still.
It's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, well, my thing is like, okay.
And now Brock Lesnar can say that he's the only person in history to beat 2 members of the New Day for a WWE title.
Yeah, and he's a 6-time WWE champion, and he's won in 3 different decades, if you really want. 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s now. Wow. So
there you
go. It was just interesting as far as...
So he's better than John Cena. 16-time win.
Exactly. 3 decades. Yeah. No, it was just interesting as far as like, could have Kevin Owens been the one to eat the pin? Because, Bobby, like you want Big E to be strong and not eat the pin. Bobby Lashley don't want that. Seth Rollins has beaten Brock Lesnar before, so maybe not him. So I thought Kevin Owens should have been the one to maybe eat it.
Here's why. If I'm looking at the Royal Rumble, and if I'm looking at the Royal Rumble, I want to put RK Bro against Owens and Rollins. So they're out for the 5-guy thing is out. You can put Big E in the Rumble, and you can do Lashley and Lesnar, because Brock can say he doesn't want to face Big E because he's the one that lost the belt. Because if Brock beats someone else for Big E's title, Big E could say that you didn't beat me for my own belt. He beat Big E for his own belt against the top guys on Raw.
Yeah.
So if anyone should get a title match, it's anybody else from that match that didn't lose.
So I'm just curious what's going to happen next now, because I think a lot of people are trying to fantasy book already WrestleMania. And
so far away.
I know.
Like,
but it's like, I think a lot of people are
Rumble.
like, yeah, no, I think a lot of people are like, oh, so can we get champion versus champion? Can we get Brock, WWE champion versus Roman, Universal champion at WrestleMania? That seems like a really sexy matchup right there with those stipulations, both champions,
2-day WrestleMania.
So that's the thing. It's like, okay, what do you do for 2 days though? Do you have the two of them go at it on night one and then the winner of the Rumble faces that winner the next night? Or, there's so many different possibilities now that, like, okay, what do you do here? Now, I would love to know, maybe one day Bruce Pritchard will talk about on Something to Wrestle what was the original story. Like, if Brock and Roman would have happened in an alternate timeline, what would have happened there? Who would have won there? And
that's so hard to call because I think that the real story is Paul.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
The story for that match. So
they kept him off TV, which is good. You don't want to. That's an important story beat. Save it for when Roman's back and everything. But yeah, it's like, there were some reports I read earlier that Big E was supposed to win originally, was a fatal 4-way. But now that Brock was in it, so maybe Brock was destined to win the WWE Championship at some point, but they just went ahead and jumped to that story already. And the goal is still champion versus champion at WrestleMania. Like, what could happen? But yeah, the Royal Rumble though. Now, what's going to happen there? I hope we get Brock versus Bobby at Royal Rumble. That's going to be awesome. I don't know if it's going to be a one-time thing, whatever, but I'll love it. I mean, if it's a 5-minute hard-hitting match, give it to me. So
it's tough. I mean, I don't think you can call it because I still think that the WrestleMania match is going to be Drew taking on Roman. I think that Drew wins the Rumble again, goes on to WrestleMania, is the one to dethrone the head of the table. And I'm hoping that we get selfishly, I just want Brock and Bobby. But what you do, but I could also see Big E. I could see Big E winning the Rumble and then beating Lashley at WrestleMania for the belt.
So there's so many different combinations, scenarios here now. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
But I mean, what are we gonna do about Johnny Knoxville when he wins the Royal Rumble? Who's he gonna face?
That would be awesome.
Dana Brooke against Johnny Knoxville for the 24/7 title in the main event of night 4 of WrestleMania.
How awesome would it be if Johnny Knoxville makes an appearance like on the Go Home show of Raw to to Royal Rumble, and he talks to Brock and is like, "I'm gonna win and I'm gonna get that title from you" or something, and then like Brock throws him.
Didn't R-Truth do that a few years ago?
So I don't know.
And R-Truth is like, oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Paul.
And he made him laugh, right?
Yeah.
Made Brock laugh. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, with how it's going to play out. Are we going to get champion versus champion at WrestleMania? Is something else going to happen beforehand? What's Royal Rumble? It's exciting stuff, man. So with the unfortunate situation of Roman and his health,
I don't foresee a champion versus champion anything at any type of big event until after the pandemic, because you're now putting something on two people that is out of their control if one of them gets sick. Because look what happened to Roman when they had to put in Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. So had Roman and Goldberg had their own belts and it was champion versus champion and Roman got sick and had to leave, you've just lost your main event. So if you put all of your money on one main event like that in the COVID universe, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah,
because these guys are traveling. So I mean, if they do that, that'll be the one thing that I'll agree that Vince McMahon is losing it.
So we'll see what happens, man. There's a lot of different scenarios that could play out here. But in the meantime, Bobby, Brock Lesnar, that looks like the next thing on the books.
The next big thing. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. BL versus BL, baby.
Yeah.
That's you know what? My prediction for that match is that BL's going to win it.
Definitely.
That was one of my favorite Bobby Heenan lines was they did Chris Jericho against Chris Benoit, and they were Tanae and Shivani were talking about who they think is going to win it, and they asked Bobby, who do you think's going to win it? Chris is going to win the match, no doubt about it.
Oh my God.
I think I remember that.
So yeah, Tommy, anything else from this match that stood out for you?
No, I just want Brock and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
That's the money match.
That's the money match. I just want that match.
So it's going to happen hopefully soon. Cannot wait. Get a lot of people to tune in to Raw this week. And listen, I'm sure USA Network is happy. Now you got Brock Lesnar as WWE champion.
I'm sure they're thrilled, and Fox is probably not very happy.
So it's like you got Roman, Universal Champion on Fox, SmackDown. You got Brock, WWE Champion on Raw, USA Network. So they got the two biggest guys as champions on their respective shows.
You have to remember, Brock is a free agent. He could defend the belt on both shows.
Oh, he did make that clear in his promo. Thank you to his advocate, Paul Heyman. He said so. So yeah, maybe he could go to SmackDown still and just show up and be like, yeah, I'm a free agent.
You got to defend. Yeah.
Before we kind of wrap it up here, though, what do you think of Big E's title reign the last few months?
Tremendous for him. Good for him.
Yeah, it was a fun reign.
If I'm looking at his reign and Kofi's reign, I could see Big E being a champion again where I don't see Kofi being a champion.
Yeah.
I think Kofi was in the right place at the right time.
Yes, the momentum for him.
Big E, it feels like it's his time and destiny. So I think he's kind of in that same holding pattern that Drew is currently in and Bianca's currently in.
Okay.
But I think he's still proven to be a main event guy.
Cool.
For sure.
Yes.
Okay. If you're comparing it to other eras, I would put him somewhere in like a Mankind position of he's not the number one guy you think of that carries the load, but he's in the top 6 to 8 guys on SmackDown. 6 guys, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly,
sure.
I think the only flaw I saw in his entire reign was that he was in there with a more experienced Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And he was just nervous to be in that position. He hadn't been in that position. But that being said, I feel as if, he's got another run or two in him for the world title.
Yeah, I hope so. So we'll see how that plays out as well. So something to look forward to in 2022.
He's a contender.
Yes, absolutely. So
what do you think? You asked me. What do you guys think?
There was some losses I wish he didn't take. I mean, there was some. I saw like a breakdown of some of his losses. For his character though, I still want to see some more character development. He's still been the same person this whole time. Yeah. And you look at other champions who go through a change and it helps catapult them into.
Absolutely. I wanted to see more of the Big E that we saw with Apollo Crews.
Yeah. So case in point, Bobby Lashley, when he came back to WWE, he's kind of like in these goofy storylines with the sisters and Sami Zayn and
good.
The wedding stuff, but it was still like really goofy, good. But he had a reset.
That was a real life.
He realized.
Did you see that Lana's now like back with that? What's he go by now?
Miro.
Yeah. They're back together? Does Bobby know? Is he on Instagram?
He divorced her. He got rid of her. He don't care.
Oh, that's right. They're separated.
But I'm saying after that ended, he reset himself, became serious, aligned himself with MVP, formed the Hurt Business, went on this tear, became U.S. champion, then WWE champion. So, you know what I mean? Like
dominated Raw Underground.
Yeah, all that stuff. Like I'm saying, like he became just more of this monster, this ferocious monster that was well protected, dominated matches and wins. So that's what I'm saying. Like when he became champion, like, yeah, that was awesome. Going back to like The Rock, the baby face, but then came the people's champion and so forth. So that's
the
what I'm saying.
Almighty.
Yeah. So that's just a classic example of guys who have a certain character or presentation.
Are you surprised that Big E had it as long as he did?
No, not necessarily, because when he won, he had the little feud with Drew McIntyre, but he knew that wasn't going to last long because Drew was going to go to SmackDown anyway. So I'm just saying, with Big E, like, I love that, you know, he's still kind of being genuine and true to himself and still being like more or less how he was with the New Day. But I still want to see that character arc develop more, and where can he go to change for the better that will make people get behind him even more. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what can you do to kind of reset him a little bit, rebuild him up, so when he becomes champion again, it will have a big impact. But, you know, I don't know if we can get that big impact because he's already been WWE champion once already. So I don't know. Like I said, it's like that's on the creative for them to how you rebuild your baby face for a championship run at some point. So that's where I'm kind of getting at ultimately. So, but yeah, no, overall, amazing main event here. So much fun. So on that note, let's start wrapping things up. Richard, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Pro Wrestling 101.
Tommy, how about yourself?
Twitter and Instagram at Iron Fist 1982.
I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official. I'm shocked.
Send your hate mail to at Baby Huey 83.
Damn it. Yes, follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Baby Huey 83. Of course, wherever you get your audio podcasts, subscribe to In The Kliq. Follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube, watch the videos, leave a comment, hit that like button. That helps out. Follow us on social media at In The Kliq, inthekliq@gmail.com. Here we are. Happy New Year, pal, as the great Vince
Happy
McMahon.
New Year, brother.
Vince McMahon would say. But yeah, we're back at it now, back on our more regular schedule now in the new year. So hope you all had a great holiday, Merry belated Christmas, and Happy New Year as well, and enjoyed your time with your family and friends. So we're gonna get back at it. Looking forward to Royal Rumble season now, Richard's favorite time of the year. So
it's my WrestleMania.
Exactly. So on that note, let's go home, and that's the bottom line because Huey said so.